What's up, everybody? It's your boy Trey Hodge with another episode of Purposeful Talk, all right? Where we talk about things that matter. And what matters today? Vacay to success. And man, I got an honor, privilege to have this young man in front of me. I'm telling you, this man, I'm gonna get into his story a little bit later, but he's doing the dang thing, like entrepreneur, young guy, I think 30 years old. Doing the thing. He's known around Houston, known internationally also. I'm super excited about some game he's going to be giving y'all, some wisdom, some insight, some knowledge, some stuff that you can take for yourself, become an entrepreneur, but you got to have the wisdom and knowledge to get there. So without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Jonathan Lewis. J.Lew, up, man?
What's going on, man? Appreciate you having me on this thing, man.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to interview, man. It definitely needed, man. You're doing some big things.
It's been a long time too.
It's been a long time. How you been, man?
I've been real good. Just, like we was talking, just when you chasing your dream, I feel like I was telling somebody about it. I've always kind of had the same end goal of what I want out of life. Mm-hmm. And, early on, we played high school together, basketball. That was my vehicle that I thought I was going to use to achieve the end goal.
Yeah.
And, once I was getting into college and a lot more politics get involved, and then I also got in trouble on top of the politics, so it didn't help my case at all. But then jumping into entrepreneurship and finding a vehicle that I thought, okay, this is going to be it. And that was a great vehicle that taught me a whole lot of things. And then fast forward to, what I'm doing now with my own company, JetQuest. It's just an everyday learning process, journey, adventure, nightmare, all of that in one. It's every day. So
yeah, I want to go back. You mentioned we've been knowing each other for a good little minute. High school. You went to the ninth grade center?
Mm-hmm.
Before that, were you at South or
South?
South. Okay, I went to East. So we met at ninth grade center. Like you said, played ball a little bit. I wanted to bring that up again just because I wanted to touch on that a little bit later. But man, running businesses, doing all these things. I know I wanted to talk to you a lot about two businesses in particular because you got a lot going on. All right. But I want to talk to you about you have a travel business and you have a luxury car business also. And with that being like you traveling the world, you seeing all people, all places, all these things. And I know everybody want to ask this question to you. I want to ask. I really want to know. What's the best place you ever been and why?
That was gonna be a way harder question.
I had to build it up a certain way.
Right. I was like, this is gonna be one of them questions you don't want to answer on camera. Man, I really would say it's been a tie a little bit between, probably the most just awe-inspiring, just like most amazing visually place that I've been to is Dubai. It's just, the opulence is crazy. It's just money, everything looks like wealth. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. But the place where I probably have the most fun is like Colombia, man. Like I love Colombia. Like I'm
scared to ask why.
The food, the women, of course, the beautiful beaches.
Yeah.
And my first ever trip we did with JetQuest was in Colombia. So there's a lot of great memories there.
Yeah.
A lot of great memories. It holds a special place because I feel like if you look on my website right now, like a whole bunch of our content that is used on the website is from those Colombia trips. Those are kind of like flagship trips. Like Nike has Air Force Ones, and that's like a flagship product.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I feel like Colombia for JetQuest. So,
gotcha. Okay, so Colombia it is.
Yeah.
So that means the next JetQuest trip that y'all have, where y'all going to Colombia, you got the family on tickets, right?
Hey, actually, man, low key, I can definitely hook you up on a deal. You know what I'm saying? Family and friends discount. But we were gonna do one this year, but we've been trying to stay away from places that require vaccination.
Vaccinations.
So we've been, just making it a thing to be able to include everybody. Obviously, still being as safe as possible. But yeah, Colombia out of nowhere kind of just added that as a requirement to have vaccination, so we pulled it off the schedule, but we'll be back.
Okay. So let's start diving into it, because that's what this podcast is about, is really get into the nitty-gritty of entrepreneurship. So you said you got into, like, you was doing basketball. That didn't really work out, right? And then you got into a business. It really taught you the game. It taught you a lot of things, and then that prepared you for JetQuest. I want to talk about the business before JetQuest? Like, what are some of the principles that you learned? Because it's all the same, pretty much. But what are some of the principles that you learned in that company that prepared you for JetQuest? Oh, but before we do that, what is JetQuest, by the way?
JetQuest is a travel club. It's a travel community. Right now, there's 2 pillars to JetQuest. The first pillar is that we host signature JetQuest trips that anybody can come book, and you get a chance to have this unique JetQuest experience where you pay your one price and everything is taken care of for you. Excursions, transportation to the excursions, and it's just a unique, like-minded group of people that you get to travel with and see the best of the nightlife, the luxury of the place that we're at, as well as like the rural and local, realness of wherever we go. So we try to hit every aspect that we can in the location, and that's the unique JetQuest experience. We also usually do a mastermind dinner at every place that we go to. So JetQuest is really geared towards, empowering people through travel. Okay. So like I said, the signature trips, and then obviously we have another pillar of the business, which is being able to put together your own custom travel packages for you. So if you and your wife wanted to go travel somewhere, we could plan it out for you, have the full itinerary, and do the booking if you need us. If you had a big group of like ex-college people that want to go, then we can do that also.
Yeah, bro, I'm gonna be taking notes. Cause this game ain't really like just for the audience, the people that's watching. It's for me too. So I'm gonna be taking a few notes, just in general. But yeah. So we know about JetQuest. We know what it is. Now, like, how did the previous business prepare you? What are the principles and the things that you learned to prepare you for JetQuest?
Well, I was in network marketing before this with the company. I don't really need to say the name, but just a company. And one thing that network marketing does is if you stick with it, if you're with a great company, of course, with good leadership and a good solid product that's not bullshit, you can learn personal development, work ethic simply because of the people around you. You learn systems and culture, which are the main 2 things, honestly. Those are the biggest 2 things in every billion-dollar company that I see: systems and culture. I'm gonna say it one more time: systems and culture.
You gotta take notes.
If you look at a McDonald's, nobody goes to McDonald's because they have the best gourmet burgers and stuff like that. Their system is down packed. You know exactly what you're gonna get when you go there, whether you're in New York or LA or Houston. You know what I mean? So the system is solid. Yeah. The culture also is what's addicting. You look at people go in there, they understand what the red means. They understand who Ronald McDonald is, Hamburglar. You know what I'm saying? They don't even promote Hamburglar no more, but we still know that stuff. Yeah. Because the culture is so highly promoted. Like, they understand getting you to recognize that branding. Same thing with Apple. Apple never has ever did a commercial where they're like, here's our newest phone and this is what it does. Like, they've never done that. Yeah. Ever. They show you some cool ass kids at a beach enjoying life, and somebody like drops their skateboard and he's like, oh, what's up, bro? And it's just like a fun ass scene. Yeah. And then the guy picks up his phone at the end of the commercial, and it's like Apple. Yeah. It's like that feeling of, yo, I want to have that day. They attach that in your brain subconsciously to the phone. So I learned that through network marketing, because the culture is almost cult-like in the best companies. It's cult-like to the point where people will defend it. Like Morpheus says, like, you can't get these people out the Matrix. They will fight you with their life to stay in the Matrix. Like, that's what it can get to with a great company. Yeah. So yeah, that was 2 things I learned. I learned leadership. I learned networking. I learned sales. All things that if you really are able to stay away from groupthink is very dangerous, but groupthink in a positive way can benefit you. So as somebody who used the network marketing system, I used the groupthink to influence the people on my team for the positive, but I would always let them know, guys, this company is not the end all be all, but I do believe with all my heart that this is the best tool for us to use to get to where we're trying to go. Now, are there other tools? Of course. There's plenty of tools that you could use and you could choose. Yeah. But there's not a lot of tools that are this cost to start up, that are this simple, that have this type of a system. So I believe this is one of the best tools you can use to get to what I think is my end result, what I think is your end result, which is financial freedom, wealth, more purpose. So that's what I would always teach people, and that would make them, it gives you an opportunity now as a leader, not just to be telling people what to do, but like give them a reason why they're thinking about it. It's like, okay, he's right. Because at the end of the day, we use tools for everything. Somebody's like, well, I never see myself selling, those kind of products. It's like, okay, did you see yourself working at Target? Like, what did you see yourself doing? Like, you're using Target as a tool to pay your bills right now, right? You didn't grow up like, yo, I can't wait to work at Target. You know what I mean? So I was like, separate that emotional tie in your brain with that, because at the end of the day, it's a tool. Your dream might actually be whatever, painting, acting, but you still need to pay your bills until you get to the point that you're marketable for that or whatever. Yeah. So this is a great tool to start with that. And the roof is a lot higher, as well as the skills it takes you to grow to become successful in this are life-changing. Once you have them, you have them. Yeah. So yeah,
that's so well spoken, bro. And I want to dive into this a little bit. I want this podcast to not be too long, but I want to be able to get nuggets. If we got to do a part 2, we're gonna do a part 2. Right. But I want to make sure they get the nuggets that you were saying, because what you're saying is real. I mean, what I picked up: systems, culture, leadership, and sales. All of them are tools. And if you learn those tools, they can take you anywhere that you want to go. So talk about the tools a little bit, because we look at something like sales, a sales company. Most people like, I don't want to sell like my mom. I remember when I was growing up, and the little people in the mall in the middle, and they try to stop you and all that. My mom, I remember she told me, don't you ever stop for them, because they're going to take your money. Sales.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Well, right, exactly. But we have such a negative
connotation.
Yeah, we have a negative connotation on sales, but it's a tool that can advance you. It's a skill that can advance you.
There's high levels and low levels of every skill. People be like, I don't like network marketing because somebody signed me up and then they left the company. I'm like, all right, well, nigga, you were signed up by a low level network marketer then. Yeah. Had you joined under somebody who's a high level, your experience would have been different. That has nothing to do with the company. That has to do with the person you signed up with. That doesn't mean because you saw a dude who sucked at basketball at the YMCA that basketball is bad. Yeah. Like, it means you saw a dude who sucked. So, it's the same thing. Your skill level, like the people at the mall, they're low level salespeople. Yeah. Like that skill set to be able to do that. Now, you might have a great one here and there, and until he realizes he can use that for higher paid things, then he'll be right there. But the richest people on earth know how to sell. Steve Jobs was a master salesman. You know what I mean? Jeff Bezos, well, I don't know about Jeff Bezos. Elon Musk is a master salesman. Yep. These people who communicate to the masses their ideas and get us to buy in are selling us. Yeah. And sales isn't the what most people think sales is that person that's at the car dealership trying to swindle them. But you said it yourself. Sales is really that communication. Sales is influence.
Yeah. So if you can communicate with somebody on a product that you have and communicate with them on why this product is good and why you should try it, that sells.
The best salesmen don't, like when you're really good at sales, the person doesn't feel like they're being sold. Yeah. It's a value exchange. It's the enthusiasm and being able to explain the value exchange, which is the sale. It's just the communication of, this is something that's great, you have something that's great, let's exchange, whether that's money in a product, bartering, money in a service, whatever. But yeah, sales, it's really an ignorance on the negative connotation behind sales. Yeah. That's all it is. I remember I was in a meeting with a mentor of mine at World Ventures. I said the name of the company.
I'll bleep it out.
But he basically had a person in there is like, I don't like sales. I don't want to do sales. Like I'm not it's like, and that's why you're poor. And didn't
just
say
left
anything.
it like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's true. Like if you had the ability to communicate your product or service to a person who could give you money for it, you wouldn't be in here in this meeting at all. You'd probably be in another investment meeting. Like you'd be doing something busy. Yeah. Like you don't see too many people inviting wealthy people to network marketing meetings unless them themselves are wealthy. Yeah. So, he was right, like 100%. I remember another mentor of mine, he recommended some books to us, and I like proudly told him, "Oh, I don't really read." Like, you know, it was so funny. Like now you see all the books. Like this is only like half of my book collection, but I was like, I don't really read like that. Like because in high school I had just been so conditioned. Like all the books we read were nonsense. Like Huckleberry Finn and Of Mice and Men. I mean, these are good books,
but it's not good for.
They don't benefit me anyway in life. Yeah. Like I finished them, and it's like it wasn't that entertaining. I know it's like American literature classics, but I didn't like them. Yeah. So anyway, I remember the first. Yeah. So I told him that, and he was like, he said the same thing. Well, that's why you're poor. And it's just like these dudes are crazy, you know. But them saying that to me,
did it make you feel some type of way?
Oh yeah, but he said it in such a way, and then smiled, and I was just like, it's just one of them things. Like, it's probably right. Like, but I remember the first book I was recommended by him was Think and Grow Rich, and immediately reading that book, I understood. I was like, it made me addicted to reading because I felt the fact that I didn't understand those things before. And I felt like, yo, this literally gives you direction in a way to go in life. And like it felt like steps. Yeah. It felt like a path to follow. And off of reading that book, it was just empowering. Like it felt like I had gained something from the book.
Was this your first book that you read that kind of got you into the personal development, the business side?
After that, I really kind of fell in love with reading, and I definitely sucked at reading before. Like I wasn't a bad reader. I was always a high level reader. Even like at kindergarten, like I was reading on like a 3rd grade, 4th grade level. But wait, what was the question? You said
what was what book was that? The first book?
Yeah,
that you started reading?
But I was never reading personal development books. Like that.
I don't even think we are taught personal development books.
Personal development, scanning. I don't just read personal development stuff. It's like I study. You see, like I have nuts and bolts books, like stuff that's like how-to books, autobiographies, stories, history books. Like very wide variety of stuff. Like right here I have like Pimp by Iceberg Slim, and then over here I have The Art of War, and then over here I have this book called The Creature from Jekyll Island, which is about like the national or the Federal Reserve and all that other stuff. So it's just things that you can apply in your real life and use the knowledge to better yourself, open your brain, all that kind of things.
Bro, I remember the first book, you know what's crazy, and this, I ain't gonna go into that. I was gonna have a whole nother thing, but the first book I ever read getting into personal development, it was actually when I got into my first network marketing company. It was the Cash Flow Quadrants by Robert Kiyosaki.
I think I got that in here somewhere.
Yeah, that was the first book, but it's crazy because I found that book from my dad, and then come to find out, like my parents divorced, my dad left, moved all of his stuff out, all that good stuff, and then I went in my parents' closet one time after he left, like years after he left, looked up, I saw a whole bunch of books that my dad had. I never knew my dad to be like an actual reader because he was always hustling, trying to make money, for the house, legal hustle. And I saw all those books, and he had nothing but personal development books up there. Yeah. And I look at myself in my room, I have like a shelf, 2 shelves, 3 shelves of books. And then I go in my game room, I have shelves of books also. So it's just like,
it passes you down.
Yeah.
It passes down.
So even if your parents are not that, if your parents aren't avid readers, but you have dreams of being successful or doing whatever you want to do, you can start that for your generation, your legacy. Because I'm sure your kids, they're going to have 2 times, 3 times the amount of books you have.
Yeah. And like I said, a lot of people read and then don't apply. It's getting the knowledge and then implementing the discipline. Putting the right circle around yourself of people who also read and who are also smarter than you. Because it is easy to get comfortable and think that you're doing something by reading. You can gain all this information, but it doesn't mean anything if you're not applying it immediately or attempting to apply it. You got to go out and fail 100 times. Okay, I read how to dribble between my legs. Now I know how to do it. No, you gotta go out there and read it. It shows you how to do it. I gotta go practice it 100 times now, and I'm gonna fail every time until like 60th time. Yeah, and that's just how life is. Like, the whole, like this book, Richest Man in Babylon. Like this book has 7 basic steps on how to create wealth. I'm still failing at a lot of these, right? You know, and I try them, I do them, and I'm not saying I fail. Like I do them, and there's certain times it's like, okay, I skip a month on like saving your 10% every month, you know, or it says don't lose money. I still lose money on certain things. I take lots of risk. I invest sometimes, and it's not always the best. You know, that's why I now have people on my team to have second opinions and overlook some things on the money with our business. So, you know, it talks about that, ensuring, you know, the money that you have, like having insurance, life insurance. So yeah, it's just, you know, take the book, but like make sure that you're applying. You know, that's one thing that I'm big on, or attempt to be. yeah. So let's get into that, man. So let's talk about the action and the applying the things that you learn. So we got JetQuest. JetQuest, I think you said you started in 2019, right? So how did you get into that? Like, what were the steps that you took? You created basically a travel agency business. Yeah, more of a travel club. Travel club. How did you do that? I just wanted to. Okay. I just wanted to. Let's get real. Because when a lot of times I hear interviews and people are like, man, I just worked hard and I just did like, nah. What are some tangible things that you did? But like literally, I just decided to do it. I literally just had an Instagram account, made an email and a Cash App account, and I started promoting a trip. And that was it. Yeah, that was how I started. So it's as simple as you got the desire, and you took the action, and you basically just made it happen. Now, given this shit could have ended up very bad. Like when you said that, I thought of Jaquan. Teen drinking is very bad. Right. Yeah. No, it could have ended up very bad. I mean, and that's the thing. Like you can't even think about that stuff. Like you can't even think about what could go wrong. It's good to have people on your team who do some at a certain point, like because you even don't want to have people on your team who are thinking about what could go wrong in a pessimistic way. If you have people on your team who are thinking about what's going wrong, you need to tell them to shut up unless they're coming to you with the solution to what could go wrong or the preventative measure to prevent what could go wrong. Like, don't come to me with, yo, this might not work. Come to me with like, okay, we need to do this just in case this did happen. Like, I'll take those things. But like I'm the person who's like, let's do it now. Let's make it happen. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the people who you see win are the ones who jump off the cliff and find a way to fly on the way down. Like they're not worried about the what ifs as they're starting. They're just starting, or else they would have never started. But anyway, so after I was in that other company, I really attached a lot of my identity with that company. Like I had to I had attached my really major life goals with using that as a tool. So obviously it was a good almost year just kind of figuring out what I was going to do next. In the meantime, I started a media company and had like between 5 to 10 clients for the whole year, and just doing marketing, social media marketing and branding for these different companies, right? Fast forward, I was like, you know what, man? I did not know how to scale it at the time. I didn't understand like a lot of things that I could have done to scale that marketing agency. And I just ended up partnering with a guy named Ced Hutchinson. Shout out to Ced. Ced, a late, great legend. He's passed away, but he helped organize a trip and asked me to help him put it together. I probably brought about half the people. Ced brought the other half. Ced and Cassie brought like a good half of the people. And, we did a trip to Thailand where Ced started his company eventually after that. And I ended up starting JetQuest right after that. Yeah. And so it was just like, you know what? That's after that Thailand trip, I then did the Colombia trip, which had over 45 people on it. But like I said, all I did from the Thailand trip, started promoting Colombia. I didn't even have the money to put down for the house. What I told this is some free game right here. This is what people got to do. Like when you can sell, like I said, all sales is communicating an idea. So what I told the owner of this house, this 22 bedroom mansion in a different country who's never seen me, I communicated with him hey, I host big trips with, this many blankety blank people. Can you block off these dates? I'm collecting payments starting next month. I'll be able to pay you the first quarter of the money by this date. If I don't have it by this date, just cancel the booking. Like, it's far out enough for you to not really be bothered by that, right?
Yeah.
And he was down to do it. Now we've done 2 trips, and I've referred 2 or 3 other people to do group trips at this man's house. He's made at least $70,000 from me. You know what I mean? And so selling that idea to him, 9 times out of 10, somebody's not thinking to even do that. They're like, we don't have the money to put down, so we can't do it. I sold him on the fact that, I'm going to get the money.
Yeah.
Let me promote it. Take care of me. I got you.
Yeah.
And so that's how we did the first ever trip. And it was a huge success, lots of fun. Like I said, 45 people came out there. No injuries, no deaths.
That's big. That's big.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, just went out there and had a great time, man, and a great group of people. All those people are still in contact today. Like, I think it was like 3 relationships came from that trip. There's some business partnerships that are in place right now. People have become roommates who went on that trip.
Yeah.
People moved to Houston and found relationships that trip. And it's the same on every other trip. Like, they create relationships that last. So anyway, but yeah, so that's how I got back into, the travel side of things.
Well, I want to dive into that, right? So I like digging into like how things happen, right? So you said you called the guy, told him your plan, and then you made it happen. So what it sounds like was you had the idea, you took action on the idea. What was your belief level right there? Were you fully confident, like, I'm about to do this? Or was it like, let's see what happens?
It wasn't even it was just like a confidence that it was just going to happen. It was like, it wasn't a like, this is going to happen. Like, not like no movie confidence, like Rocky. It's just, I didn't even have a doubt that it would happen.
Okay.
It was like me walking to my car and knowing it's outside right now. It's like, that's how calm and confident I was about it.
So you did that, you called him, you made it happen. Now, you say you didn't have no money. And that usually the excuse that we hear is, damn, I ain't got no money, I can't do it. But you allowed that situation to have you come up with the money. So how did that process come about? You didn't have the money. Let's just paint the picture. $0 in your bank account.
It wasn't zero, but it wasn't enough. Yeah. The house is 5 bands a night, so I didn't have that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just painting the picture wise, $0 in the account, like zero balance. Got this idea. You put the things in place. Now, I don't know if you want to give game. I don't know if you want to tell everybody the game to get people to come, but like, how did you be able to sell or communicate your idea with other people to come along on this trip with you?
Well, I mean, we use Instagram, we use social media. I got friends to help me promote this. I made flyers, social media flyers. I paid a videographer to make a like 30-second video clip with like B-roll. So we had like a video that like said Jet Quest and the dates on it and the price, and it just like showed clips of Colombia that wasn't ours or us. And we posted that, and once we started getting like the first couple of people to book, we would promote the people who had booked, and it just took, and we had a good chunk of time, as a rollout. So I think like maybe 4 or 5 months before the actual trip started, and then a payment plan also. So it's like, I think we did the trip for $800, which was way too cheap. We did it way too cheap the first ever trip. We should have definitely did $1,200.
So people paid y'all $800 for the trip?
Yeah, each.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Man, okay.
And that's how it happened. And there's different size rooms in that house. So like some people paid $800, got the master suite. Yeah. And some people paid $800 and did not get the master suite. Yeah. So, and none of that rooms are bad. But it was just, it was just the first trip.
Yeah. So as the results of it, you see it was a success. Was it really a success? Like I'm just trying to paint this line graph of series of events that happened and how it turned out, whether good or bad, which allowed you to keep going. Because I feel like a lot of people, they see the problem and they can't see past the problem. Even if you fail, how much did you learn in the process to get past it? So was it a success in the end? Was it a profit made? Did you break even? If
definitely,
you were willing
definitely just broke right over even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we definitely should have charged way more. And when you go to different countries, what you'll quickly learn is unexpected things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. And people are trying to hustle you, especially in third world countries, at every fucking corner. Mm-hmm. So that was just the major thing. Like, definitely had a couple of mishaps on that. Spent way more money than we had thought. Like I said, luckily we still didn't just, wasn't in the hole. But
so you was talking about, we had a little technical difficulties, but you was talking about the mistakes that you learned from the trip, and you come out to be just over.
Yeah, there was actually a good chunk of lessons from the trip. Mm-hmm. And like I said, on the outside looking in, it was perfect. Even for the people who went on the trip, they all had a great time. Some people still tell me that was the best trip they ever had in their life.
Yeah.
But from a business standpoint, as the person who put it all together, a lot of it was stressful. Mm-hmm. But going from that, I ended up having people who wanted to reach out and partner with me. And man, it was a lot. It was a lot. It's a lot that's happened. I had partners who I had known 8 years prior to starting JetQuest, and just thought, these are the perfect people to go into business with. I can trust them. I know their parents, mine. Mm-hmm. I've known them for this many years. We've done business together. This is what people don't realize, though. Doing business with somebody in network marketing is completely different from doing organic business with them. Mm-hmm. Because network marketing is a shield of protection. Mm-hmm. You don't own the corporation network marketing. Yeah. You work under the corporation as a contractor, as an independent, IBO, whatever you would call it. Mm-hmm. And so if somebody sues that company, they're suing that company, not you. Yeah. If somebody steals from that company, they're stealing from that company, not you. It doesn't come out of your check because they don't have access to your check. Yeah. Now, when it's your company, it's different. Everything's different. It hurts different. It feels different. Like, the lawyer fees are yours. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff coming out of your pocket. So I ended up having people that I partnered with without just doing my due diligence and taking my time, because I felt like, if we just did this trip and, these were the numbers that I thought I could get, if I would have just did this slightly different, we could have made $20,000 on that trip. So I was kind of in a rush to get some people to help me to do it again, to get that kind of profit, because I was like, okay, well, I'm still in between. I just stopped doing the marketing stuff. Mm-hmm. If I can get the right people around me that we can all work and I'm not doing it alone, I could probably get this next trip going, which we ended up getting a trip of 100 people. Wow. But these people tried to screw me over, steal the business. Like, they started a whole other LLC with the name JetQuest Lifestyle. Like, they just added a word.
That's crazy.
And which was the dumbest thing, because it's like, you can't sign. I all had them sign contracts before we started, which was the smartest thing I did. But you can't sign a contract and join on a LLC on a business and then start the same business in the same industry with the same name. Yeah. Like, the judge is never going to give you that one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The judge is never going to give you that one.
You were pretty clever. With
so it was just, but it was like a little bit of a heartbreak. Like, damn, they would do me like that, and a setback, because I had literally promoted and got, I say 70% of the 100 people who went on that trip went because of me. Yeah. And my brand. In the previous Colombia trip, that was such a big success and had went viral. Like, so many people saw that. So they all wanted to hop on whatever was next. Yeah. So we got 100 people to come. And, right before that trip happened, I pulled out because I was like, they tried to steal my whole company. So obviously I'm not going to go. I told everybody what had happened. And fast forward, a lot of those people still went. They understood. Some people pulled out just because they didn't want to be involved if I wasn't involved. But fast forward, 3 years later, we've done 12 trips, all profitable. Never had any injuries, never had any accidents, never had anything bad happen. Not saying that's not possible. Life is life. Like, grown adults having fun, anything can always happen. But we've been blessed to always take preventative measures. And I've went through different teams. As a startup, you're gonna have that happen. People who join you because of the excitement, and then realize that real work needs to be put in. Yeah. And when you don't have money, you don't have money type of help. Yeah. So the more we're getting the money, the better help, the harder that I work, the better people I see that come around me. So I've had to pull more out of myself than ever. And become more creative and become more giving as far as what I'm willing to do for somebody who's bringing to my company. And man, I have like an amazing team right now. Like the value they're bringing is extreme, and everybody is just as excited about this as me. Everybody who's working with me now has asked to come to JetQuest. I didn't go to them, they asked to come to JetQuest.
That's dope.
And they want to be here. I didn't have to, hey man, I think you should, none of that. So when you have the right team, you can feel the difference, especially after having been working with the wrong team. And the future is crazy. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Obviously, I'm going to Egypt in 10 days for our Egypt trip. It'll be my first time in Africa.
Okay. The motherland.
Yeah, facts. So going to Paris, Greece, and Jamaica after that for this year. Okay. And that'll be the end of our 2022 schedule. And then we'll be working on 2023 by the end of the summer. We got an NFT coming out. Stay tuned on that. It's going to be really major. Have people in-house who are helping us build that out. Working on building an app. We want to create the subscription-based membership.
Okay.
So the model is, like I said, the first 2-3 years was really all about creating that proof of concept to be able to eventually create all the systems in place that we needed to scale and get the investors in place that we needed to scale and just give us that infusion of money to be able to go crazy. And that's pretty much where we're at. By the end of this year, we'll for sure be there at a confident place where I'll be able to, kind of demand what I want just based off what we can show that we've done and what the brand looks like and the followings on all of our different platforms. So yeah, man, Nipsey said it best, like the genius thing we did was just not quit. Yeah. Like there's certain days when, we didn't really produce that much, but we showed up and we was around the campfire, and like we might have felt like that we didn't get shit done today, but we showed up and we thought about things. We showed up, we communicated, and we cleaned up messes, and we might have thought, well, today was supposed to be a building day, but maybe today was just a day where we refocused. But we were around the camp every day, every single day, even when we didn't feel like it. And even if it wasn't when it was just me, and I was able to attract the right people. So yeah, that's where we're at right now, man, with JetQuest. And then, Luxo is a partnership that I just tapped into here in Houston. It benefits me in a lot of ways as far as being able to network with higher end clients. It benefits them in a way that we're able to help them like with event creation, step into the private aviation space, and content creation, because they have some great people on their team already. And just having extra very creative content creators like myself and my people, it just adds value to all of us. And really, lastly, is just working with the nightlife and hospitality industry here in Houston. Like I said, Houston is top 3, 4, 5 nightlife cities in the whole country. And the money is extremely fast, it's good. It's something that you can get mixed up in if you don't create a system around it to separate yourself if you can. That's good. But yeah, everything you have to start with the end in mind, with a plan. Like everything I'm doing is in connection to the main thing, which my main thing is JetQuest. At the end of the day, that is my main focus. Yeah. Every other thing I'm doing benefits that in some way. It feeds that in some way. So
love it, man. And that was funny because I was actually going to go into Lexo Exotics too. Make sure you check him out, Lexo Exotics, man, bro. I seen you pull up. I ain't gonna tell you the car you pull up in, but bro, he doing his thing. But man, like one thing that we do on Purposeful Talk on this podcast is we like to point out the skills that you've developed, and I want to see if you recognize the actual skills that you develop, because we have it lined up. You got your gift, your passion, and your skills. If you can put those 3 together, you got a nice business. So what are the skills that you say, like in one word, the different skills that encompass all of the business and all that you do? I got one. I already know one off the top of my head.
For me?
Yeah, your skills.
Communication.
Okay.
Communication, being able to communicate a point, being able to influence people. I think once people get around me and hear me talk, like naturally, they're pretty like driven towards me. I'm able to create movement amongst people. Like, I'm able to get people going towards something, if they're smart enough. Usually I'm able to make good enough sense to point people in a certain direction. And whether that's traveling, whether that's really anything, people trust me. Like, and that's a skill in itself, having people trust you. Credibility. But yeah, I mean, all of those all kind of end in the umbrella of influence and culture. So like, I'm able to create a culture.
Be able to create a culture. I was gonna say marketing,
right?
Which could be the same
culture,
thing. Yeah, create culture. So with that being said, I just wanted to point out, he didn't say an occupation. He didn't say a job title. He didn't say that. And I feel like a lot of people get it confused with, okay, my gift is a job title.
Yeah.
When it's just preparing you to work for somebody. Your gift, you can literally put it, or your skill is, you can put it in any area of life that you choose.
I talk about that to a lot of people who are, a lot of us are brainwashed by TV, our parents or whatever, who made us believe that security is in something external, aka your security is in your job, your security is in this, your security is in going to school and having an education. When education has nothing to do with a piece of paper, it has everything to do with how you're able to think critically, how you're able to survive, how you're able to thrive on top of surviving, and how you're able to create what you want out of life. But I find security in the skills that I have and develop, and the knowledge that I have and use to get what I want out of life.
That's good.
Like you said, you can take knowledge anywhere. I can take the ability to sell and communicate and create culture and bring people to something anywhere. Because I'm able to bring people, Luxo sees value in that. Because I'm able to create content and sell an idea, Luxo saw value in that. Because I'm able to get people aroused and hyped up about something, I'm able to get people on these trips and travel and create this movement.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's the same, like if I was to sell life insurance or sell vacuum cleaners, like it's the same thing. You can take it wherever. If you was to sell another kind of business, like whatever you're doing, your skill set and your gifts, like you say, are things that should be transferable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's so beautiful, because one of the things that we teach in Uplift and Outreach is understanding you. And it's all that.
Self-awareness.
You can understand your gift, know your passion, and develop your skills.
And know your weaknesses.
Know your weaknesses.
Know your weaknesses.
For sure. But man, we about to wrap up, man. Man, this was a phenomenal podcast, bro. I feel like the audience will really get a lot from this. But last thing I want to do, I don't do this often, but last thing I want to do is I want to give you your flowers while you're here.
I appreciate it.
So I'm gonna tell y'all a little story. I told y'all I'm gonna bring y'all back around to we used to go to school together, right? We used to go to school together, and we hooped together. I ain't gonna tell you how my hoop game was, because we just gonna leave that at that. But so J.Lew, Jonathan, he was on the basketball team, and from my point of view, he wasn't the number one guy. He didn't the coaches wasn't calling his name. Like, he wasn't always in the starting five, anything like that. I promise it's going to turn good. I promise it's going to turn out good. It's sounding real bad right now.
Nobody liked it.
But one thing, it's a few things I remember about you, bro, ever since high school. Number one, I remember your form, your shooting form, bro. Your elbow and your arm is like straight up and down. Like, it looked a little awkward to me, but your form, immaculate, right? But one thing I remember, or a few things I remember, is your work ethic, bro.
Yeah.
I remember your work ethic. It was one time, I kind of felt like a scrub after this, I ain't gonna lie. But I was like, you was hooping in the gym by himself. It was in the gym, practicing, putting up shots. I come in, I think it was me and another guy. We came in. It was like, hey, bro, can we hoop with you or whatever? And he was like, yeah, grab my rebounds.
Did I say that?
Yeah. He was like, yeah, just grab my rebounds, help me out. I'm trying to work out. And at that time I was kind of like, man, it's whatever, but it's beautiful to see now, because I see where the work ethic came from, right? And it didn't just start with, I want to start a business, I want to do this, I want to do that. You was dedicated to something in the beginning, and that's why I talk about the principles that you learned in your first venture.
Yeah.
That wasn't even the first venture. Your first venture was actually basketball.
Yeah.
Because you got the hard work, you had the hard work principle, right? You had the focus, you had the mentality, you had the desire, you had all these things. And even though you didn't have the what the world called success, it prepared you for what's to come. You're the age of 30. No telling how much money you make. We in your apartment. It's a high rise. It's nice. It's real nice.
Appreciate
you really doing your thing. And I just, like I said, I wanted to give you your flowers because I seen the hard work that you put in. I seen your mentality. You was goofy. You was super goofy, but you were focused on what you wanted to do. Grades was on point because of basketball. I remember that.
If it wasn't for basketball, I wouldn't have cared about grades at all. But high school was easy. It was really easy.
Yeah. But I just had to say that because I believe that if teens or if the audience or just anybody in general could find that desire, like what is it that you want out of life? Even if you can't put your mind on what it is, like you in your mind, you wasn't like, I want to have a travel business.
Never thought about it.
Yeah. You were just literally like, I want to have a better life than what I have right now. And so you put that mindset into a tool, which was basketball. You developed your tool, you developed your skill, you got focused, you was disciplined.
Don't forget to mention to him that I did use AAU basketball and went to a year of prep school and then got a scholarship though. Okay. So I did turn all that around.
So it did pay off. I'm just saying from what I experienced. That's all I can talk about, from what I saw. But
if I was to give a last key to, since we're talking about teenagers, like this is the biggest thing. Is like if we talking about young men, all young men. I don't think I had a book in here. I gave it to my little brother, but go get a book called The Way of the Superior Man. Like, man, if y'all can just learn how to control your little ding-a-ling, man, like stay locked in. When you get a chance, and this is gonna go in a lot of people's ear and out the others. You know, a lot of us have to learn the hard way through experience and just like, oh, I gotta see how many girls I can get and do this and that. And that's what you're gonna do. And once you get to a level where you just like, you've done that, make sure like you just have a real talk with yourself, like, what has this done for me? And the answer is always going to be nothing. It gave you a chance to see what it could do for you. And once you saw that it was nothing, like, you got to realize all the time that you really did waste. At the end of the day, that's all you can call it, is wasting. It might have been fun, but like when you think about somebody who wants super success, who want to be great, who want to become a legendary, at the end of the day, anything not built on your purpose is a waste of time. You know, do you really think, what's this called? Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? Any of the legends, like anybody who's just a legendary person spent excess time on things that was not their exact purpose. Like not even excess time, like really chill time. Like nobody who I know who's successful really chills. Yeah. Like they might have wind down time, go get massages and like recoup self-help time, but they don't chill. Like there's never a time where they're just not doing something idle, that's beneficial.
Just straight idle.
So I mean, that's the biggest thing, man. Like these girls gonna be here, like at the basic, most bottom grassroots level, the smartest thing you could ever remind yourself every day. If you chase your dream and chase this money, the girls come with that. But if you only chase girls first, you're gonna be broke. And you're not gonna get the girls that you want. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You'll get some, but you're not gonna get the ones that you want. So if you really just want them, chase the thing that's gonna get them. It's like, okay, I could go try to get a bee. Well, that's a good analogy. That's a good analogy. It's like, if I know honey comes from getting bees, I'm not gonna just go try to get a bunch of bees first. Well, okay, this is a horrible analogy.
You're gonna get the honey.
Yeah, you're gonna get the honey.
Is
the bees. Bees are gonna come from the honey. Yeah. Or better yet, if I need freaking honey from bees, right? We're gonna make this shit work. I'm gonna get flowers. We're gonna get these flowers because we know bees have to go to the flowers. Yeah. And when they get there, then we got them. So I'm not gonna go and do it completely backwards and just go outside looking for bees. Yeah. Just because it is some outside, it's gonna be a lot more work. But that's essentially what it is. Like people chasing the women, young men chasing the women, and then not even that, but like once you get access to them, like I got a lot of access to women. Even still, that don't mean you have to do stuff with them all the time. Like just lock in, man. Like lock in. Having discipline is like, it gives you self-confidence. You know what I'm saying? It gives you a lot of self-confidence. And before you get into the deep hole, because the more you do something, the harder it gets to slow down on doing something. Yep. So that's all I tell y'all, man. Hope y'all had fun with that half-ass analogy I just gave, but you get what I'm saying.
Man, it's good. I think the thing I took from it is just like, I think Nip said it. It's not gonna be verbatim, but it's like, if you not doing your purpose, you wasting air.
Yeah.
So
find your purpose or you wasting air. He said Nip gave a lot of game. He even said it. He's like, first you get the money, then the power, then respect, then the hoes come. If that's what you really want, if that's really what you want, then do the first 3 steps first, and that's gonna literally come to you, and you don't gotta go get it no more. Yeah, like it's gonna come to you at that point. So, but I think, you know, the point of your whole podcast is like getting people to understand their bigger purpose, which no man of value's purpose is getting women. Yeah, that's not a purpose. That's just a waste of time. It's a thing to do. It's a thing to do. That comes. So
cool, man. Well, hey, I appreciate the time. I feel like it was some really good nuggets in there, some actionable items, not just the talk. We can tell that you've been through it, you've been in it, you've been out of it. We can really tell that you've been in it. So I know you kind of gave a last word, but just like in a couple of sentences, like 1 or 2 sentences, what's one more thing you can say to them?
I was actually thinking about this. Disciplines over results. If you focus on doing the action steps and the measurable disciplines to get to a goal rather than the results, you're gonna win. Fall in love with doing the discipline. If I know I'm trying to make varsity, instead of me just practicing kind of blindly every day, like I gotta make varsity, I can say literally like, I'm going to lift weights 1 hour a day. I'm going to shoot 500 shots once a day. I'm going to spend an hour on one-on-one drills a day working on the moves that I just practiced. Those are actionable steps. After 30 days, you can measure whatever 500 times 30 is, the however many hours you spent in the gym, however many hours of one-on-one that you played. You can measure the things. So it's the same thing with business, like measurable action steps and falling in love with completing the disciplines rather than just celebrating results when you get them. If you find the happiness in, I completed my task for the day, you're gonna be an entrepreneur. If you can do the disciplines, rain, sleet, or snow, you're an entrepreneur. You can be a winner in life. If not, if you are addicted to immediate gratification, you'll never win in life. You're gonna be an average person. You're gonna work a regular job, and somebody gonna have control over your schedule and everything else in your life, really. Yeah. And that's just the facts. Like, look at the people around you and tell me I'm lying. But yeah, disciplines over results. And the last thing I'll say is excuses over results. And you only have one. You can get excuses and keep those, and I can't do it because well, it didn't have, or you can just go get results. Like, there's only 2 options in life, and you get to choose them. So,
hey, said enough. So with that being said, this is Purposeful Talk. My name is Trey, J.Lew. Purposeful Talk, where we talk about things that matter. And today, Vacay, your way to success matter. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.
Yeah.